You were never meant to beg the universe. That's the first lie you were told. On September 26, 1983, one man in a cold underground bunker held the fate of the world and chose not to pull the trigger. This is the story of the forgotten scientist who saved the world.
September 26, 1983. A Soviet spy satellite blinks to life. An American missile launch from Montana. Within seconds, Soviet protocol demands an immediate counterstrike. In that instant, two superpowers teetered on the brink of annihilation. Yet, deep beneath Moscow, Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov hesitated. A scientist by training, he'd helped build the OKO early warning system. Petrov saw a machine's certainty, but sensed something was off. In that charged moment, he trusted his own doubt over blind protocol, and he saved us all. By the end of this film, you'll know how Cold War tensions pushed the world to the edge, how a single false alarm almost triggered global catastrophe, and why one quiet decision remains our greatest safeguard. A world on edge, Cold War at boiling point. What if two giants, armed to the teeth, spent a decade daring each other to blink first? By the late 1970s, peace between Washington and Moscow had given way to raw brinkmanship. The Soviets positioned SS-20 medium-range missiles in Ukraine and Belarus, steel rods aimed at Europe's heart. NATO's answer, the double-track decision, deploying Pershing II and cruise missiles across Western Europe. Tension boiled over. In 1979, Soviet forces marched into Afghanistan. The U.S. armed local fighters in response. 2 years later, President Reagan labeled the Kremlin an evil empire and pumped billions into America's defenses. Schools drilled for nuclear shelter. Families built fallout kits. Millions marched for peace from London to Rome, yet every plea seemed to harden leaders' resolve, convinced that any hint of weakness invited first strike. In Moscow, paranoia ruled. Yuri Andropov's Operation Ryan dispatched KGB agents to scour hospitals for blood donor spikes, track embassy visits, even follow Red Cross convoys, each oddity a potential sign of surprise attack. Then came Able Archer 83, NATO's most realistic nuclear exercise yet. Missiles moved into position. Radios crackled with mock launch codes. In the Serpukhov 15 bunker, whispers spread. They're not practicing, they're hiding a real strike. Meanwhile, life went on outside the bunker's work. School, laughter, unaware that a single mistake in these simulations could spark genuine disaster. The incident, September 26, 1983. Imagine your finger hovering over a button that could trigger Armageddon. What would you do? Just past midnight, Petrov entered OKO, the eye of the Soviet early warning network. 80 officers manned the consoles. He led the night shift. The dim control room thrummed with machines in tension. At 12:15 a.m., one warning blinked. A missile launch near Montana. Seconds later, a second, then a third, fourth, fifth. Each ping meant attack. Protocol demanded an immediate relay to high command. In minutes, Soviet missiles would roar skyward, but Petrov froze. He recalled tests showing that at dusk, high clouds could reflect sunlight like rocket plumes. Why would a genuine first strike arrive in batches of 5? No rocket trails, no radar echoes. He ordered manual checks. 17 long minutes ticked by, each second heavy as a year. His finger hovered over the hotline. Then he pulled back, declaring a system error. No missiles came. Engineers later confirmed that a rare alignment of clouds and sunlight had fooled OKO's sensors. A global catastrophe was averted not by policy, but by one man's clear thinking. Fallout not from the bomb, but from the system. He saved us all, then was punished for it. How does that even happen? With dawn came no parades. Instead, Petrov faced a formal reprimand for not logging the alarm properly. I had a phone in one hand and a microphone in the other, he quipped. No third hand for paperwork. In 1984, he left the military under vague circumstances. He and his family moved to a modest Moscow suburb, surviving on about $55 a month. Some nights passed on to little food. In 1997, his wife fell ill and died, leaving him alone with 2 children. His deeds stayed secret until after the Soviet Union's collapse. In the mid-1990s, Komsomolskaya Pravda published a brief note on a silent hero. In Russia, hardly anyone noticed, but in Germany, peace activist Karl Schumacher read the piece and sought out Petrov. He brought him to global attention. Awards followed: the United Nations World Citizen Award, documentaries, and still, Russia stayed silent. No medals, no monuments. Only a small plaque in Germany honors the man who refused to push the button. Legacy and modern warnings. We're closer to midnight than ever could. The next false alarm be the last. Fast forward to 2025. The doomsday clock sits at 89 seconds to midnight, the nearest in history. Cold War treaties have lapsed. Nuclear powers modernize arsenals. Countries from the US and Russia to China, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea test new missiles and build new silos. Now, artificial intelligence and autonomous weapons enter the fray. Algorithms promise lightning-fast response, but one glitch could unleash irreversible destruction. In a world driven by data, a single misread pixel might ignite Armageddon. That's why Petrov's warning still echoes. Humanity's greatest danger is its own vulnerability. A machine can trigger a warning, but a human must decide what to do with it. Psychologists argue that doubt is not weakness. Clear, reasoned hesitation can outpace blind certainty. Training leaders to question automatic orders through ethical drills and open debate adds a vital layer of safety no algorithm can replicate. On September 26, 1983, a faulty alarm nearly triggered global doom. A computer saw sunlight, not missiles. Lines of code, cried Wolf until a single man's calm reasoning intervened. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov trusted his own judgment over a machine's certainty. He asked one simple question: would a real first strike begin with only 5 missiles? By acting on that doubt, he held back an order that would have obliterated millions. Today, as technology accelerates, his story reminds us that our greatest safeguard remains human wisdom anchored in humility, moral courage, and the willingness to pause. In a world increasingly reliant on algorithms, our greatest safeguard is still the human mind capable of doubt, empathy, and wisdom. By honoring Petrov, the forgotten scientist who saved the world, we celebrate the power of a single choice to change history, and we underscore the need to train every leader, not just in technical rules, but in ethical thought, because sometimes the smallest hesitation can save us all. Stanislav Petrov never sought fame, yet he became the forgotten scientist who saved the world. His quiet bravery shows what one person can do when they choose clear thought over panic and doubt over dogma. If this story moved you, hit like, subscribe, and ring the so you won't miss our next deep history films. Share this video to remind others that sometimes the greatest hero is the one who simply refuses to push the button. Until next time on the Infinital, stay alert.